I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. From overturning a key policy of his predecessor to investigating high-profile corruption scandals, our guest tonight has wasted no time making his mark as the new ombudsman. One of his first major moves allowing the public to access official statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth, or SALNs. How does he plan to take this momentum further in the fight against corruption? Let's get on point with Ombudsman Jesus Crispin Boying Remulla, who joins us via Zoom. Ombudsman, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for your time. And of course, congratulations to you.
Thank you. Good evening, Pinky.
So, Ombudsman, yesterday, you, once again, I would have to say you're allowing now the public to access SALNs of government officials and employees that fall under the Ombudsman's office. I understand, kasi, sir, that not all SALNs are filed with the Office of the Ombudsman. For purposes of clarification, sir, who submits their SALNs to the Office of the Ombudsman?
All employees of the Executive Department should have a file with us. But usually just salary grade 27 and above are filed with us, and the rest goes to the Civil Service Commission. But with the digitizing now of records, I think we can accommodate all the records of all government officials, including the other branches of government if they will allow it. At least that is what we say now, because we will have to request them to issue us copies of their SALNs also.
So, sino pong nagsasubmit sa inyong opisina ngayon? President? Vice President?
Vice President, the Executive Department.
Cabinet Secretaries?
Cabinet Secretaries, and everybody else who has a record of SALN above salary grade 27. But with the digitizing, as I said earlier, we'll be able to have everything on file very soon.
But Ombudsman, the senators and the congressmen, they don't file their SALNs before the Office of the Ombudsman. Hindi ba they file it in their respective secgens?
Yes, the House keeps its own records of the SALN, and the Senate does it also. But there is no record naman of them withholding information from the Ombudsman so far. But as far as public access is concerned, that is another story, because everybody has his own rule. And probably I will have to meet with many of them on how we can make this more transparent for all agencies concerned.
It's important you said that, sir, because I was actually trying to research on this. And that's why I wanted to start with the fact that if we were to talk about senators and congressmen, they do not submit their SALNs to the Office of the Ombudsman. They submit it to their own departments. But ang Ombudsman po, Presidente, Vice President, Cabinet Secretaries, and Constitutional Commissions. Here's where at least I saw a possible problem, that it appears, you can correct me if I'm wrong, sir, that with regards to the Supreme Court, meron po silang sariling guidelines on how to allow the possible release of SALNs. The
yes,
Senate...
they've always acted that way ever since, no? Well, actually, I will have to speak with them about this, because the success of the justice system and everything about it also relies on the Supreme Court. I mean, half of it, or maybe more than half of it, is the Supreme Court. So the transparency that we require of everybody should be there also for the men in robes, the men and women in robes.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to discuss that with you, Ombudsman. Dahil from my understanding, may guidelines po ang Supreme Court, may guidelines po ang Senado, may guidelines din po ang House of Representatives. And then, of course, the Office of the Ombudsman also had its own guidelines in the past when it was Ombudsman Samuel Martires, di ba? Doon nga po medyo natigil, hindi pinayagan unless with the consent of the party, hindi ho ba? That's why it
Yes.
became very controversial. So how will this work? If you look at Republic Act 6713, which actually, doon po nakalista yung dapat magsabit ng SALN. Ano po? How, are you looking at a way to kind of make this consistent among all branches of government in terms of how we are able to access the officials' SALNs?
Yes, Pinky. I think that that all departments should be able to should have the same transparency as we are setting in the office of the ombudsman, because everybody here, all the government officials, have accountability issues, diba? We have to be accountable for everything we do. So it's just right that people have access to it. Yun nga sinasabi ko lang, wag lang masira yung data privacy ng ibang tao, kagaya ng mga pangalan nga ng mga minor children, yung exact address, yung signature, yung government ID numbers. Siyempre, iniiwas natin yan. Pero otherwise, we should try to be as transparent as possible, because it is critical to our country that we curb corruption. It's already a crisis of proportions talaga.
So, yeah, part of the resolution or the decision that you put forward is that we will be able to access the officials' SALNs, but there will be redacted parts.
Konti lang naman ang re-redact yan, Pinky. Konti lang talaga, kung tutuusin. Hindi naman masyado talaga eh. Ito lang talaga yung pinag-iingatan mo, makidnap yung anak at baka sa ating ibintang may mangyari. Dapat talaga alagaan din natin ang nature ng information na ating binibigay.
Understand, sir. In fact, I wanted to discuss that with those watching us right now kasi tatanggalin po yung, syempre, yung pangalan ng mga anak. You don't want to know
Minor children.
the minors, rather, and their
Yes.
age. Hindi ho ba?
Yes,
And
yes.
even the exact address will be redacted.
Exactly. Bawal din yan. Oh.
Ano pa po yung redacted? Sabi niyo kanina, yung signature, obviously.
Signature. Yun. Basically, yun lang talaga eh. Yung home address, very important yun. Kasi baka dumugi ng tao yan. Tapos maging lynch mob eh. Sana iwas naman natin yung
So
ganung
pwedeng
way.
ilagay lang po, kung nakasulat po, Makati, iiwan lang po ba yung Makati o i-redact din po yung Makati?
Yung Makati, iiwan natin yun.
Okay.
Iiwan natin yun. Kung gano'n.
Iiwan yung city, hindi lang po yung exact address. All right.
Of
Okay.
course.
So now that we will have the opportunity, sir, to access the SALNs of these officials, there were guidelines that were, rather, these guidelines that you set forward, first, no, sir, has to be published in a newspaper, tama ho ba, of national circulation, and it will only take effect 15 days after that?
Yes, we hope to be doing that as soon as possible. I think we're there already. I think that we submitted for publication already.
Ombudsman, can anyone ask for a copy of a SALN of the President or the Vice President?
Pwede. Pwede naman. Meron lang undertakings naman dyan eh, di ba? Ang gusto lang natin talaga, responsible people ang kukuha. Kasi dapat baka ma-weaponize, Pinky eh. Baka naman iba ang kalabasan yan. Ang sinasabi ko nga, kung meron kang investigative arm na gumagawa, kung meron kayong investigative report na ginagawa, bigyan nyo naman kami ng kopya ng inyong output. Kasi that will also give us a clue on the job we have to do. Feedback mechanism din kasi ang public eh. Kaya sa akin, walang problema ang pagbibigay ng SALN. But I expect no less than reciprocity that they will also give us information.
Yeah. Kaya meron po mga exceptions ni Huba. I want to put that up on screen. Meron yung, ang exception, obviously, kung yung office is not the official repository, syempre, paano naman po ibibigay yon? The
Yes.
requested SALN is not on file. Can we talk about that briefly, sir? The requested SALN is not on file. Paano nga ho yun?
Ano yan eh, kasi pag not on file, that's what we will indicate. Pero hihingin namin sa kanila yung kanilang SALN. Pag hindi namin mahanap sa file namin. Kasi dapat nandun sila, dapat meron silang record sa ombudsman ng kanilang SALN.
Okay. So, and then there are other exceptions. Ano po? There's evidence of extortion or safety threats. The identity of the requesting party is fictitious. Obviously, bakit naman po ibibigay yan? Dapat talaga mag-ingat. I guess the question there, sir, really is, how can, these individuals, these officials, even someone like you, paano ho mas-safeguard at hindi po ito magamit for politics at and in line with actually what is stated in the law, which is RA 6713. Basically, how do you balance both, sir?
Yun nga yun eh. The right to know should be balanced with other rights of people who are divulging or disclosing their personal information. Pero siyempre, as public officials, it's par for the course. Pag ikaw ay public official, dapat ilahad mo yung kailangan mo ilahad. Kaya mo tinanggap yung trabaho yan, kasama yan sa kondisyon. Pag hindi mo sinama yan, para namang masyado ka namang nagpapaka primadonna na hindi mo bibigay yung information mo. Ano to? Accountability issue to, Pinky. So,
Okay.
everybody should give, yeah.
Ombudsman, there are concerns that this move of taking away that restriction imposed by your predecessor, Ombudsman Samuel Martires, may be used could be a way to target Vice President Sara Duterte. Please respond to that, sir.
Well, ano yan eh. Kanya-kanya kasing fear yan sa mga tao eh. And sana wag manaig yung fear na yon. Kasi mas mahalaga yung accountability issue para sa ating lahat. And then that's par for the course also. Pagka, yun nga, yung weaponization ng SALN, we don't want that to happen. But sometimes it's the only way that we can check the lifestyle of people. And it includes everybody, Pinky. It includes everybody.
Yeah. I think when this was being talked about, the Vice President actually said, I think nagamit niyo po yung word na sisilipin natin, yung mga SALN. And I think the Vice President said, not in these exact words, pero parang wag na niyang silipin, tingnan na niya. Kayo po ba, Ombudsman, have you seen the SALN of the Vice President?
Pinky, it's the third day of office now, officially. So I haven't really gone into that. Ang una namin pinag-aralan talaga is to come up with the rules so that we can release the SALNs already. Ano lang yan? Siyempre, we have to protect also the privacy rights of people according to the data privacy law. We have to balance the interests of people. Pero, ano yan eh? Lifestyle check weapon talaga ang SALN. It's actually the intention of people para maging accountable tayo. Di sabihin natin kung ano meron tayo sa simulat sa pulpa. Diba?
Dahil pagpasok po sa gobyerno ay nakasaad na po yan sa RA 6713. Hindi ho ba? All right. So you were saying hindi nyo pa nasisilip, hindi nyo pa natitingnan, it's only been your third day. That's correct, no, sir?
Yes, third day.
So I would assume the same for President Bongbong Marcos. You haven't seen his SALN either. Have you seen anyone's SALN yet, sir?
Sorry, not yet. I have not seen anybody.
Okay.
Anybody's SALN.
All right. Sir, I'm going to give you time to take a breather. Let's take a very short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Still with us, Ombudsman Boying Remulla. Ombudsman si Senator Kiko Pangilinan po nagsabi sa kanyang X account, we welcome this move by Ombudsman Remulla. Unahin niya ilabas yung SALN ni dating Ombudsman Martires mula nang umupo ito bilang Supreme Court Justice hanggang sa pagbaba nito sa pwesto bilang Ombudsman itong 2025. Baka sakali magkaalaman na bakit tutol ito sa paglabas ng SALN.
Ano yan? Mahirap kasi he's my predecessor. But all the information will be available naman. I think that pati yung akin naman available eh. Hindi naman yan, wala naman tayong itatago rito.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to go there, sir. So, obviously, yung inyo po is already in order. At did you submit your own SALN? Ganun ho ba yun?
Of course. I've been doing this for the longest time, Pinky.
Yeah.
I've submitted SALNs for at least 20 years of my life as a public official.
Yeah. And you were
A total of around 20 years.
And this time, of course, in the past couple of years, sir, being DOJ Secretary, you were submitting this to the Office of the Ombudsman. So, nandyan na po yan.
Andiyan na yan. Andiyan na yan sa akin. Oh,
And we are also free to look at your SALN.
Of course.
Would you be able to tell us your net worth, sir?
Ano yan eh, hindi ko alam kung acquisition value o market value. Pero kasi syempre nagbago yung mga values, di ba? Ano naman yan eh, I've had a long professional life and I inherited some property. I'm okay. I'm not the richest. I'm not rich if you compare to many people, but I've done well. That's all I can say.
Alright. Ombudsman, again, no, kasi baka lang po, meron pong humingi ng copies ng SALN ng ilang mga senador, ilang mga congressmen, especially those who have been mentioned in this flood control scandal. Again, so right now, sir, would it be right to say that if anybody wanted the SALNs of congressmen and senators, hindi po sila sa ombudsman sasangguni?
With their respective houses, but with the Senate, for the senators in the Senate, and for the congressmen in the House of Representatives. Wala pa yan sa amin. That's one thing that we have to make clear. Kasi nga, ang fight against corruption is a whole of government approach. Dapat yan, all branches of government, tulong-tulong. And it should start with us.
All right. Fighting corruption, you were talking about that earlier. This is one way to actually fight corruption. What about lifestyle checks, sir? Is this something you will aggressively pursue?
Yes, kaya nga nakalagay nga sa memorandum namin yun that it's a lifestyle check tool and we want crowdsourcing. We want people to tell us what they see so that we can act accordingly, di ba? Ganun naman yan Lifestyle checks will be very important because that's the first indicator that something is happening, something is afoot that should not be. Kaya nga, I advocated lifestyle checks as early as 2001, late 2001 when I was employed at the Senate. And that's one thing that I advocated at that time when I was still speaking for President Estrada. Yun ang sinasabi ko na nung araw, dapat magka-lifestyle check.
Alright. Dapat hubang matakot na ang mga opisyal, whether politicians, whether government officials or government employees because of this possibility, this openness to look into SALNs, and this fight against corruption that could lead to lifestyle checks, dapat hubang matakot na yung mga corrupt?
Alam mo yan, Pinky, may kasabihan naman yan, this too shall pass. You may face a crisis one of these days because of that. Pero lilipas din yan. There are ways to resolve it na transparent pa rin ang way. It reminds me kasi, Pinky, I had a visitor the other day. One of my close friends, at least he was my party mate at that time in Congress. And he was accused in a PDAF cases. And nagsauli siya. He gave full restitution and more. He was suspended. He had to undergo a whole process. And sabi niya, hindi na ako uulit, boss. Sabi niya, hindi ko na uulitin yung nangyari sa akin. Kasi ngayon lang siya nabigyan ng clearance ng Sandigan Bayan. So, do not fear that these things will happen to you because it's par for the course. When you want to serve, the road is always full of obstacles, and of course, there are ways for people to probably abuse power that should not happen. At dapat i-correct natin to this mechanism called the Ombudsman's Office.
Who is this friend of yours, sir?
Wag na nating mabanggitin. Ano na siya? Off the watch list na siya. At sabi niya, hindi na ako uulit. He was a former congressman.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who this person
Low profile to. Hindi siya sikat. Pero talagang nagdusa siya. Nagdusa talaga siya. Kasi nga, PDAF cases yan Isa siya sa nahuli sa PDAF cases.
Pero hindi politiko.
Hindi na siya politiko. He was a congressman.
Dating congressman. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking of someone else. All right, sir. I'll respect that. So, pag-usapan po natin, there was also this report, sir, very recently, I think it was also yesterday, that you had made mention about a paper trail and bank transactions linking government officials to anomalous projects. Ombudsman, what can you say about this? Ano ho itong paper trail?
Isang snippet lang to, Pinky, sa daang snippets na makukuha ko from the Anti-Money Laundering Council. It involves one of the top contractors, one of the 15 top contractors, and 2 active congressmen. And there was a transfer of money to the bank. And that transfer of money is a questionable transaction traced by the AMLAC. So it gave us a clue how to proceed further. Kasi nga, hindi naman nagkangalugan na nakuha mo yung clue na yon, pwede mo nang kasuhan, dapat buuin mo muna yung kaso.
I'm sorry, sir, I was writing it down. Could you repeat that? Sabi mo, 1 out of the 15 top contractors involving
Yes.
2 congressmen, did you say?
Transfer of money to 2 congressmen, active congressmen.
Active.
To a bank.
Wala pong woman.
Involving more or less 100 million pesos. Yung niremit sa 2 congressman.
Man, sir, walang woman.
Congressman. Congressman.
Okay.
Dalawa.
Okay, so to the tune of about 100 million. Kasi yung lumalabas, sir, especially in the beginning, were the congressmen and women mentioned by the Diskaya couple. Hindi ho ba? At least in the beginning, the start of the hearings in the House and the Senate. Kasi doon po nag-center yun. Remember, there were some, allegedly, senators and then some allegedly congressmen. Ito ho bang dalawang sinasabi niyong congressmen, ilan doon sa na-mention na ng Diskaya couple?
Hindi, wala sila. Hindi pa sila nababanggit.
I see. So this will come as a surprise? Kasi hindi pa po sila nababanggit.
Yes.
NCR, sir?
Wag na muna, wag na natin. Basta pinky, hintayin nyo lang. We will
Okay.
come up with it. We will come up with a report for that.
I understand.
We will do fact-finding. The graph investigators will be at work. We will ask the NBI. We will ask the AMNA. We'll see how this government functions, this position functions. We'll test the limits, Pinky, when it comes to this.
I understand, sir. I want to get your quick reaction, though, on the Diskaya couple. This just happened today, sir, that they, upon the recommendation of their lawyer, had made a decision not to cooperate with the ICI because of a recent interview wherein si dating Secretary Babe Singson had said that at this point, parang ganito po, at this point, hindi pa sila kino-consider na maging state witness. And because of that, they invoke the right against self-incrimination and refuse to cooperate. How will that, something like that, sir, affect the Office of the Ombudsman's costs in pursuing cases in relation to the flood control scandal, sir?
Well, we will still pursue cases naman in court. The Diskayas will be charged in accordance with our investigations. Cooperation kasi is good because it can lead to restitution. It can make things easier for the country. But if they want to give the country a hard time, so be it. Wala tayong magagawa kasi the design of giving immunity to people is not for a blanket immunity to be given to people who are involved who may be involved in hundreds of cases.
Yeah.
Ano yan, Pinky? Sabihin natin, meron na siyang problema sa BIR, yung tax evasion cases. Ito ba? Isasama mo sa immunity cases niya? Paano yung cases nila sa bid rigging? Kasi nga lumabas ang statement noon ni Henry Alcantara na wala na naman labanan.
Yeah.
Kasama sila sa bid rigging. Di kasama sila, di ba?
Yeah.
Itaanda ang kaso yan. Ano pa yung lahat yan magkakaroon ng blanket immunity. Yun ang difficult part of this.
Yeah.
This is the difficult part of the job that we have. But we will figure it out, Pinky. We'll figure it out.
Important that you said that, sir, because I had on the show PG Fadulyon last night. And that's the same question I asked him. I said, kapag maging state witness, sabi ko, for example lang, hypothetically, ang isang Bryce Hernandez, dito sa 5 cases that they recommended for filing before the Office of the Ombudsman, di ba nakita kayo kahapon, maaari ho ba silang kasuhan pa sa ibang kaso? To which PG Fadulyon was saying, yeah, it's quite difficult to give a blanket immunity dahil nga there could be additional cases.
Actually, I had lunch with PG Fadulyon yesterday, with the Prosecutor General, kasi nga they turned over to us the documents leading to the documents regarding the investigation of the ghost projects in Bulacan First District, Engineering District.
Right.
Kaya pinag-usapan na namin yan. Research has to be done on that again. We have to complete the legal research on that kasi nga blanket immunity is something that you do not want to give, especially if the people are not disclosing everything. Kailangan may full disclosure bago mo mabigayan. You should know what you're getting into. If I don't know what I'm getting into, hindi ako papayag talaga.
So, dun sa naging desisyon ng Diskaya couple not to cooperate for now, What do you think of that? I mean, was that a good move?
Ano na yan nangyari na yan sa amin nung isang linggo sa DOJ nung nasa DOJ pa ako Nung sinabihan sila na huwag kayong aasa na hindi na kayo makukulong kasi sa dami ng krimen na pinag-uusapan dito, baka hindi nyo makuha yung blanket immunity na kinakailangan nyo. And right there and then, they stopped talking. Yun ang sabi sa akin ng aking mga kasama ron. And I can see that, tsaka ano talaga may problema talaga minsan. Pag ayaw talaga nila mag-reveal ng buong katotohanan. Kasi dapat truth teller ka para maging state witness ka Hindi ka pwede maging selective, Pinky.
Actually, that's what PG Fadulyon also said yesterday. Hindi pwedeng selective ang paglalahad dito. So, as a last question, sir, even with that, dahil nangyari na pala ito sa Diskaya before, very recently sa DOJ and then now with the ICI, does it even look like they have a chance to become state witnesses?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Kung magkakaroon sila ng awakening na talagang i-open nila ang buhay nila sa scrutiny. Kasi ang pinag-uusapan dito, Pinky, hundreds of cases Hindi naman to isang kaso lang o dalawang kaso lang. Hundreds of cases to, Pinky.
But Ombudsman, sino ho ba ang kanilang, pasensya na, last follow-up, sino ho ba ang kanilang, kasi sabi nyo, kailangan nila ilahad lahat Sino ho ba ang kanilang, it seems na kanilang pinoprotektahan, and how far high does that go?
I think they've been protecting Bongo. The joint venture that they had with CLTG, with the family of Bongo. That's one of the protection, one of the people that they've been protecting. To be blunt about it.
Senator Bongo, okay.
Yes.
In fact, I spoke to former Senator Trillanes also about a week ago, and he said that he was readying cases against Senator Bongo dito nga sa sinasabing flood control projects because it relates to his father. And you're looking into this as well, Ombudsman, yung kay Senator Bongo?
Of course. Ano yan kasi nga yung mga prohibited interest, conflict of interest, isa yan sa special areas of concern in researching the culpabilities of people so we can have restitution given to the country. Marami kasing nangyari dyan na may conflict of interest talaga, especially marami sa congressmen. They were even the contractors in their own districts, kapatid nila, o kaya minsan sila mismo. But that's what you call low-hanging fruit, Pinky. Di ba?
All right. Ombudsman Boying Remulla, sir, pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to have you again to get more updates. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That's On Point. Join us again tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching.